All right, this is Ramon.
This is Chris.
Let's check in. All right, so we got another one for you guys. We're gonna actually talk about surviving in Northeast Portland, the survival of the fittest.
Back in the day.
So
not a lot of people know Portland now because it's been on TV for things like brew cycles and they have things
bar
like
crawls.
things like that. But my cousin him and his business partner was on TV, holding it down for Super Burger. So those my guys and my cuddy, they Northeast Portland original. So we fuck with that. But a lot of this new Portland, that ain't what we grew up in. You know what I'm saying? And there's this thing called gentrification that happened and kind of displaced us, to the east side of town, which, a lot of people are trying to get back to Northeast Portland, but I have an idea about that. I'll share at the end of the show of what we should do to kind of, build community somewhere else. But, so, I was born and raised in Portland. I lived all over Northeast Portland. I lived in a weird pocket where,
what part do you live in?
So I was born at Kaiser, the old Kaiser, which is Adidas now. I lived on Kirby. I lived on Blandina. I lived on Borthwick. My grandma and grandpa lived on Shaver and Gambine. My dad's mom and his dad, my grandma and grandpa on his side, they lived on 7th and Skidmore, between 7th and Skidmore, 7th and Prescott.
Yeah.
My grandma's address was North Portland, but but if you went up the block, it was Northeast Portland. So I say I'm from Northeast Portland, you know what I'm saying? And us from Northeast Portland, we just different from North Portland people. I ain't trying to hate. I'm just saying we different. You know what I'm saying? We just a little different. You know what I'm saying? We just a little. You know what I'm saying? We got a little more swag. You know what I'm saying? We got a little more juice. But
anyway,
I'm just saying. It's just the facts.
But hold on, because there's a difference between North and like the deep North.
Yeah, there is.
There is.
See, but I think if it ain't past like that Walgreens on Lombard that used to be Keno's, if you're an OG, that's Northeast. I don't care if it says North, that Fred Meyer's and shit. All that shit is Northeast Portland. That's Northeast Portland. Until you pass Keno or Walgreens right there, you in Northeast Portland. That to me, that's just how I see it.
Okay. I mean, what about the ones that stay like? Well, see, my family, they stayed on Albina and Webster and Sumner.
And that's north, right?
That's like on the cusp of
that's Northeast though.
That's not Northeast because it's still North Portland.
Man, that's Northeast. That's Northeast, bro.
But it still say North though.
I don't care what it says. That's Northeast Portland.
That's another conversation. That's another conversation. We're gonna have to bring some North and Northeast folks up here to have that conversation because that's hella debatable.
That's just how I see it. It's easy to say that because if you said North, people would think, oh, so you talking about St. John's, Roosevelt. You'd be like, nah.
But you gotta like distinctively like say, no, I'm from North St. John's, or I'm from I'm from North Portland, Albina, Killingsworth, Mississippi. You gotta be hella specific. You know what I'm saying? When you say that, you gotta put them street names in there.
Or you can just have from Northeast Portland. Anyway. So it was different back then before, it got the popularity it has now. And you got white people walking their dogs and stuff like that. But just living back then, I mean, shit, I probably got the quintessential black story. You know what I'm saying? My parents was on drugs. I lived in numerous dope houses, but when I was growing up as a kid, that's kind of what everybody did. Everybody had that story. So it wasn't different, everybody at Humboldt, you know what I'm saying? When I went to Humboldt, and everybody there was going through the same stuff that I was going through, so, but I remember it being like rough, you know what I'm saying? Like you really can get wasn't nobody coming to clean up North Portland back then, or Northeast Portland back then, you know what I'm saying? So, but like so like like surviving that. I remember trips to the food bank. Which now has like the richest condos, you know what I'm saying, in the city. But they used to be a food bank there. I remember going to the food bank. I remember like going to the welfare office. You know what I'm saying. I remember just kind of just looking around and everything being like raggedy. You know what I'm saying. Everything was raggedy. You know what I'm saying. Like and it just was a place, but it was community. You know what I'm saying? It was a small community. You know what I'm saying? My parents are like, so like there was like a generation of people that came to Oregon from the South. And everybody who was around my parents' age kind of was part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like they was the kids of the
migration.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody knew each other. You know, so I feel like the sense of community really, like, you wasn't getting away with a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't get away with a lot of stuff. You know, like if you lived in apartments, everybody in apartments knew your parents. You had to go meet parents before you went and hung out with them. You know what I'm saying? It was just real. It felt real. It felt real live. You know what I'm saying? And everybody went to the same store. I know people might look around and be like, man, but this is Portland. Portland used to be black. I mean, when I was growing up, I went to a black church. I went to all black schools. You know, the store I shopped at was a black store. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was just, it's just what it is, you know. But that was my experience, you know what I'm saying, growing up in North Portland back in the 80s and 90s. There was some gang violence. I done seen a few not really shootouts, but like people shooting in the air, that kind of wild shit, you know. But it still felt like home to me, you know what I'm saying. Even though it was traumatic, I went through a lot of trauma growing up in that era, you know. But it still, to me, it feels like that was home, you know what I'm saying. And it felt good to kind of just know everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, everybody knows, like, say Portland's small, you know? And it was smaller, well, I don't know if it was smaller back then, but it felt smaller because everybody, like, you could probably, like, ask, hey, you know so-and-so? And like, oh, man, you know, somebody knows somebody. Yeah. Somebody know your cousins, you know what I'm saying?
Man, it's a town, small town.
You know what I'm saying? So what was your experience growing up in Northeast Portland?
My experience growing up in North Portland was mostly like gangs and drugs. I mean, it was just constantly within, you know what I'm saying, the vicinity. I mean, like I said, I grew up mostly on Albina and Sumner. My grandparents, they had a house which is still there. It's now in my uncle. My uncle bought my grandparents' house, and so he still stays over there. Yeah, kept it in the family. So we were constantly, like, you know, just dealing with, you know, just gangs. You had Kirby's, you had 60s, you know what I'm saying? And so then you had, you know, drug activity out there, which was heavy. So we were just always, you know, trying to avoid, you know, just dealing with, you know, just the pressures of, you know what I'm saying, just gangs. Because, like, I always recall, you know, whether it's like walking to Peninsula Park and, you know what I'm saying, just walking there, you just never know who you're going, you know what I'm saying, run into. I mean, not to say that you had, you know, any funk with, you know, any of the gangs that were, you know, over there, but, like, you could just be walking, and I was, like, you know, a kid, you know, I'm like 6, 8 years old, you know what I'm saying, walking with my older cousins to Peninsula Park to go swimming and stuff, and, you know, you see some dudes, and they sizing you up. You like, you know, what you got on with that dead right there. You can have like the tiniest like red color. It be in your shoes or it be in your shirt, and they pressing you. They trying, you know what I'm saying, get stripes and stuff. And so that was just something that was, you know, always just very difficult, because like, damn, you're older than me, but you're gonna fight my young ass, you know what I'm saying, to prove your stripes and stuff, to prove, you know what I'm saying, that you from the turf, or, you know, you're trying to prove something to your OGs or whatever. And so that was something that was like really scary, because like, you know, that can easily turn into like, you know what I'm saying, something very violent. Yeah. So just surviving, you know what I'm saying, that, just not trying to be in any type of, you know what I'm saying, gang affiliation, even though I knew most of them because I grew up with them and stuff. But it's like, okay, you from the neighborhood, so it's like you gonna, you know what I'm saying, fuck with us or not. And it's like, I don't bang, like, you know what I'm saying, like, we cool and shit, but I'm like, I'm not trying to get into no, like, you know what I'm saying, gang activity. Like, you know, I'm a square, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm just from the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, and we know each other. So that was one thing. Like, you know, also like you had mentioned about, just, shootings and stuff, like, there was always like, some kind of shooting somewhere. And so our folks, they were always, concerned about us, just being out, because back then we were always outside, what I'm saying, whether it's riding bikes, whether it's, playing football on the street, playing basketball, we was always out. But our family members, our parents, like, they were very concerned about, us just being out, because it was always some kind of, shooting, someone getting killed, especially during the summertime, like when it's, the hottest, and folks always want to act up. It's always, like something that's been like perpetuated, in Portland. When it gets hot, shit start happening. So
true.
Yeah, so they were just, very concerned about, just our well-being and stuff, and, just getting into any kind of like gang activity or being pressured to, use drugs, because crack was, very, very, prevalent during that time, during the late, I would say early 80s, mid 90s and stuff. And so, you had D-boys, just out there, just on the street hustling. And so my mom, she was just like very protective, like, because I knew a lot of,
so was mine.
Yeah, because I knew a lot of folks who was doing that I grew up with. And I think she was worried about me getting peer pressured or influenced to do that.
Yeah.
And so that was like, her biggest concern was, not being peer pressured, not being influenced and stuff, just getting that type of lifestyle, because, there was no, good outcome out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be, selling, a little piece of whatever, and you get put for like, 3 or 4 or 5 years, for just some little shit.
Yeah. And when we was coming up, that's when the mandatory minimums.
Yeah. So that was something that, I definitely survived. Luckily I had, folks that were older than me that was, just in my ear, like, you don't need to be doing this shit. Like, just, you a cool little young dude, just keep your nose out of trouble and stuff. And, and I think a lot of them, respected that, even if you didn't want to, bang or, get into like that type of drug lifestyle and stuff, like, they was like, okay, you still cool with me. You know what I'm saying? I still, respect you as who you are and stuff. Because, they going to know the real from the fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I definitely, I never really got pressed, because they probably knew me from the jump, like, hell no. We know goddamn well you ain't about to be like, you know what I'm saying? You gonna get caught and tell on everybody. Man. And I probably, I ain't telling. Shit.
Exactly.
I'd have been like,
Exactly.
So, exactly. So how did you so you say how you avoided gangs, like, did you ever get pressed? You know something to join, or?
They were always like, like, try to, suggest or, get me to do that shit, but I was just like, nah. I was scared, like, I didn't want to get shot.
Oh, God. That was my reason.
I didn't want to get shot.
That was my reason.
I did not want to get shot whatsoever.
I was like, man, that's a result.
Like, I'm cool, because like my older cousin, he had friends that joined, like, when they were like 14, 13 years old, and they got killed. One of his friends, which, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know, was Kenny Wayne.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was his friend. I knew him, when I was like in elementary school. He was probably in middle school. But like, I partially grew up with him.
Yeah.
Through the association with my cousin and stuff. And so just finding out that he got killed, he got shot in the head. He was only like 14. Damn. 14 years old, I think. 14, 15 years old. And he was banging. You know what I'm saying? And that was just like an unfortunate, thing that happened. That was a reality check for me, just seeing that at a young age. And, also like seeing like some of my friends, saying like when I got into like middle school, like they was like, selling weed, selling, dope and shit. And, just seeing that like at middle school, like I was just like, shit, like that was like, like a crazy like reality check, like, damn, I'm actually seeing like, drugs. Yeah. At this age and stuff. And so I was like, man, I'm cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do no jail time. I'm just like, man, forget that. I'm cool, man. I just saw, like, you know, American Me. And,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All that other shit. I was like, man, you got me fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
I feel you on that one. So, fast forward, you know, that was our kind of growing up in Portland, you know what I'm saying? Doing that kind of stuff, like I said, that was kind of, stuff was everywhere for real, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward now, it's 2019, you know what I'm saying? Gentrification is, I mean, it's really, it's deep, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like I started noticing the change around like maybe 2005. Like I started seeing a little like weird stuff like, that's weird, like why? Okay, so they're gonna close down this shop and open up that shop, right? So or something, so there's a yoga studio over here or something like that, you know? But one of the main parts of gentrification that we see is how our schools turned out, you know what I'm saying? Our high schools in particular. So I went to Jeff, you know what I'm saying, you know, which was the best high school in the city of Portland. And Ramon went to Grant, you know, which Grant is cool. But, but I feel like because Grant's location, it's like a case study for gentrification. No, am I lying? I'm not trying to, I'm just saying all facts. Am I lying?
I don't know.
Because where it's at, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like quintessential Northeast Portland. It's like right on 33rd or whatever. And then it's like, you know, and that's where everybody was coming in from California and New York and buying these houses and stuff. And it's like, oh, we got a high school here. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about Grant is that, you know, it was over like, okay, so Grant was in like a pretty affluent area.
Always.
However, you go, you know what I'm saying, further down 33rd.
It's Laurelhurst.
You know what I'm saying? No. I'm not talking about that part.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking
Alameda.
about okay.
You
go down Alameda, you know what I'm saying? You go further down to the other northeast part of Portland. And then, like, you know, because most people were, like, taking the 75 to 8. Mm-hmm. So you had people that were on, like, Deacon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You had people that were, you know, I don't know if they were as far as, like, you know what I'm saying, Lombard Interstate, though. But, you know, a lot of kids, you know what I'm saying, were coming from those other parts of Northeast. And they were going to, like, you know what I'm saying, Grant.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know, just some, like, Rudy Poo-ass students that was going there, you know what I'm saying? We was...
I'm just
you better check the history, bro. But after, throughout time, that shit started getting like, you know, little Rudy Poo.
Yeah.
As far as like, you know, the school itself.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, because before, if you lived in that neighborhood and you had you was affluent, you know, so you probably went to Central Catholic or something like that, you know. But now since it's, you know, they moved us all out to like Madison and stuff like that. People's schools, people go to Grant. You know, it's like so seeing that kind of stuff. So just overall, how does gentrification like play on like you know, like community trauma? You know what I'm saying? Like
because I mean, you got people that, you know, live there for like, you know, 30, 40 plus years and stuff, and you know, they're being displaced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got people that have like sentimental value of like, you know, things from their home.
Yeah.
And they're having to move. Yeah. Or, you know what I'm saying, or the grandma died and then, you know, the house gets turned over to the kids, and, you know, and this is something that, you know, we can all, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say relate, but we all know this story that, you know, mom dies, kids on drugs, the kid, you know what I'm saying, just gives the house, you know, to whoever's coming in to, like, you know, give this like boatload of cash for the home. They give it away, blow the money on God knows what. Yeah. And now this person, whoever they may be, mostly a white dude, a woman, or whatever, has this house. They're building it up. And now they have almost like $1 million home in northeast Portland.
Quick.
So that's definitely like, you know, kind of like the story of the situation. When we talk about gentrification, not only being displaced, but us not knowing about financial literacy, us not knowing about, you know, investing and, you know, keeping our homes, you know. So when we're not, you know, educated in that sense, then, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people just giving away homes because they think, oh, I cashed in, I got a whole bunch of money, but they're not realizing, the property and the value of it and how much it's gonna, like increase over time and stuff. And so I don't think we understood. I don't think we understood the long term of, keeping the house or, just staying within the Portland or northeast area and stuff, because we were always like having this bad idea about our neighborhood, like it's being bad, there's crime, there's drugs and stuff, like everything that's happening. But we didn't really create those conditions.
And I feel like that's the long game too, because it happened in every hood in America. You know what I'm saying? Like you were trained to leave.
Right. Thinking that leaving is like, like the way out, but it's like, nah, it isn't. Like, you gotta stay within your neighborhood. You gotta like, try to uplift your neighborhood and have it thrive, you know what I'm saying? Because we're supposed to thrive. We're not supposed to be in these conditions. This is not natural. You know what I'm saying, that we're in, or, in other, major cities and stuff. That's not natural. We're naturally supposed to thrive. We're supposed to, be living like our best lives and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what causes like also the mental illness, is being like in these environments that are, causing, whether it's mental ailments or mental illnesses or, health ailments. And it's because of the conditions that we're in. And the environment that, we're placed in and stuff. It's not healthy, to our psyche. And so when you don't have a healthy environment, you don't have a healthy mind.
Definitely. I know that when I lived with my grandma on Chevy and Gambine, the closest store to us, grocery store, Krago's, they used to sell us rotten meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, that was just kind of just like, you go there, you might check the meat, you know what I'm saying? There's a few times where like my dad went and he got a pack of hamburger meat and was like, oh, this is bad. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I'll pour milk out in the cereal and be spoiled already. And that's just, man, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure remind me of the B Company.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stores like that would sell you this kind of food, but the food ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? But me, gentrification, to me, I just don't like how it's thrown in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like how easy it was for people to come and build up Northeast Portland. You know what I'm saying? How easy it was for people to come and like, just kind of, like be like there and not really understand like the historical context.
Right.
I don't like when people say this neighborhood is safe now. That's liable to get you cussed out, by me. Just by me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I get offended. Like, I used to live, many places I used to live. I used to live like Mississippi. And just seeing like, my sister-in-law, bless her heart, she's young, she don't know nothing of nothing, you know what I'm saying? She from the Downs. But like, you know what I'm saying? But seeing her and her friends like partying on Mississippi and like Snapchatting and stuff, it's like,
do you really know the history of,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I get it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just kicking it. But at the same time, it's like, I get a little envious. Not mad at her.
No, that's a trigger though.
But I get envious of like anything like that, like or any kind of Snapchat filters that I see people like just kind of, out and hanging out in neighborhoods. I remember I made a joke one time. I was like, man, like my favorite Snapchat feature is looking at the filters of the gentrified neighborhoods.
What?
because you could like, you go there, how you like swipe left,
and
it says like Belmont or Mississippi or you know what I'm saying, so it'll tell you where you at, and that's funny, like so it'll tell you where you at. So to see stuff like that, I get a little envious. Like, man, like when I was coming up, man, it was so hard, and I don't regret it. I feel like it made me who I am, but it's just like, it's like, oh, it's just like, man, like I wish I could have built it up. Like, so how much could we have done, you know what I'm saying, if we felt comfortable? Because we didn't even we lived there. And I remember not walking to a certain store because I was like, I ain't trying to fuck with that, because down here, these people at that store, I'm going to walk out my way to this store because I just don't want to deal with none of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So just like, not even having the comfort of living in your own neighborhood, and then you come to some other neighborhood and you comfortable, it's like, damn, like, sometimes I just think like, man, that'd be cool one day, you know what I'm saying? just to know what it's like, just to feel like,
You belong, or
you know what I'm saying,
like,
and you can go anywhere and
right.
just feel that way, you know. But I mean, it is like triggering. You know what I'm saying? I don't get like I used to get real triggered. Like I remember I couldn't even go to Mississippi or Alberta like for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go there and I would just spend like my time. I spent a whole hour just talking shit about it. You know what I'm saying?
You was bitter.
I was bitter. I was pissed, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, you know, I'm a homeowner, so I can't really be too, you know, I'm part of that tribe now, but it's at the same time, it's like, you know, I would have loved to bought a house where I grew up at.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
But I couldn't afford it, you know? But,
that goes back to, you know, structural racism, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that goes back to that, you know, redlining, and you know how it's much harder for, you know, say African Americans and just people of color to, you know, get home loans, get approved, and you know they make you go through, like, I mean, I understand, like, you know, the process. They make everybody go through it.
Yeah.
But however, you feel if you've been through, you know, trying to get a home loan or FHA and stuff, or a conventional loan, you just feel that that experience is just a lot more rigorous than, you know what I'm saying, your white counterpart, because like, you know, they give the information to, you know what I'm saying, the banker, and they, you know, do the draft and stuff, overwrite and everything, and then bam, I got pre-approval letter. Bam, I'm going shopping for the house. Bam, you know what I'm saying, I'm closing on the deal. You know, it just happened so fast. However, and I can just, you know, say this from my own personal experience, like in the past, you know, that stuff is like, you know what I'm saying, just difficult. It's almost like, you know, just
daunting,
nerve-wracking, man, and it's very like frustrating, and you get like levels of anxiety and stuff, and it's just like, man, you just feel like there's no way that I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, win, or I'm gonna, you know, get the house that I want, because I don't, you know, either qualify for the amount that I, you know, feel like I deserve, or you're giving me this high interest rate, you know what I'm saying, or you're just, you know, just taking your time with, you know, the whole process and stuff, like whether it's, you know, with you know, giving me like a list of, you know, homes, whether it's, you know, responding back to my emails or my texts and stuff, or you just, you know, just slow on the ball, just, you know, just writing up the override, or, you know what I'm saying, getting the pre-approval letter. It's a pain in the ass.
That's what like what helps with home ownership too is like generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? So like if you ever heard of the generation gap, that's structural racism. You know what I'm saying? Because like you know, so like let's say my grandpa and John's grandpa, you know, same age. John got approved for a loan that got him a house back in 1900. My grandpa couldn't get a loan, so he lived in apartments. John is building equity. My grandpa's not. You know what I'm saying? But he ends up getting a house eventually, but in like the lower part of town. Right, doesn't build as much. John's equity is killing it. You know what I'm saying? Killing so much, he paid his house off. My grandpa's still trying to catch up. And so now I'm born, or my dad's born, or my mom's born, whoever you want to see be in the story, and they're trying to catch up to, you know, just be themselves. And by this time, you know, John can give his son enough money for his house. Right. So now you got two houses, but that'll worth some money. And then, you know what I'm saying, on the contrary, we got one that ain't worth nothing because it's in a red line neighborhood. Exactly. You know, so and that's usually how it goes. That's why like there's so many people of color trying to play catch up. You know. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, shit. Dominant culture has a 400-year, you know what I'm saying,
head start. Man.
You know.
So, but anyway. I know there's a lot of initiatives to bring people of color back to Northeast Portland, but I feel like we need to, what I would like to do this one day is go out to East Portland and like really figure out a way to kind of build community out there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of us trying to go back to Northeast Portland.
East Portland, like Gresham?
Man, you know East Portland. You know East Portland.
Numbers.
The numbers. You know what I'm saying? The numbers. Lord. Yeah, but that's see, but I'm saying, but we like they ain't got no community out there. I feel like. That's why it's true. That's why it's so turned. You know what I'm saying? There ain't really a place where people can come and, you know, like it's all county stuff, and we know who run the county. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like there's really no community or sense of community here, even in Portland, North or Northeast.
You're right, but we did have that.
Yeah,
and when they displaced us, we lost it. And a lot of us are trying to run back to Northeast Portland, but it's like, no, we got people out here who are getting the shit end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? Like them schools out there, it's hard. You know, schools there's a lot of hard kids out there that go through a lot of trauma. It's just traumatic out there. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we need to. I would like to, you know what I'm saying, start like something out there. I don't know.
So stop romanticizing about living in Northeast Portland. Try to build community out in Gresham and the East Side, Deep East Side.
You know what I'm saying? If y'all see this episode, holler at me. You can email us, let's check in, 19 at Gmail. And I really just want to do something, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've spent enough time trying to get back to the hood. You know what I'm saying? We got places out there that need us.
Not only that, man, I mean, I feel like there's a market that hasn't really been tapped into, like out there. And I think there's room for opportunity and progress. And also, man, there's land out there. If anyone is like actually thinking of, you know, moving further out east, there's land, and so you can build on that land too, whether it's a tiny home or if you want to, like, you know, do a small farm or a garden or whatever. I mean, there's opportunities out there, so you gotta look outside or think outside the box and not, you know, be stuck in the box. You know, because there is opportunity out there if you just, you know, be on some different shit.
Yes, sir. Well, that's all we got for this episode. You know, that was our experience of growing up in Northeast Portland. So I've been talking about the effects gentrification has on the community. You know, I don't mind sharing my space. You know, I do it, you know what I'm saying? I do it all the time. But just, you know, just kind of have, you know, just have some respect for people that came before you. You know? And we signing off. Email, if you got anything to say you want to say to us, let's check in 19 at gmail.com. We on Facebook. Check out ptownmedia.com. And there's a lot of podcasts, shows. They got a lot of stuff over there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them for you know, working with us on this platform, doing the cool edits on this video,
keeping the creative content going.
You feel me?
Appreciate
that. Let's drop a bomb on them. Oh.
I'm gonna get that shit though, man.
Let's do it again.
Yes, sir.
Peace.